Welcome to another video, guys. So today you join me in Burnley, and we're going to be walking around the town, how it started, what it's all about, and why it's not some backwater dingo town like everybody thinks it is. Do you know, come up the one quietest street, you can guarantee there's flipping traffic. Any road. This is Automate Mill, and where I'm heading, it's called Weaver's Triangle. Now, just in there, don't know if you can see this, there's still a working boiler house in there. Two Lancashire boilers side by side. But unfortunately, the mill closed about 2 years ago. But you could go as a visitor and have a look at it. I think they were steamed once a week, every Sunday. But yeah, the reason I wanted to come here is because you get a true sense of what Burnley used to be like. This is down by the canal, Leeds and Liverpool. It's a very student area. They've opened up like a student hub type thing, connected it with this big rusty bridge. See that there? And they've converted one of the old mills. So just behind me, there's another weaving shed with canal side loading and unloading. And these are the old weavers' cottages. So yeah, we're on the Leeds Liverpool canal. Let's go have a little tour around, and then we'll hop down to the viaduct. We'll jump through the town centre, and we'll talk about what makes Burnley Burnley. Right, so these are the cottages. You get a really good sense of it here. I'm actually just stood under an old canal bridge, taking cover, because we've just had a bit of a rain spell. Just see the clouds up there. Yeah, so this is Weaver's Triangle, and these are the old cottages where the weavers and loom workers would have lived. Now, Burnley was important. In fact, it was one of the most important weaving towns of the Industrial Revolution in Britain. It produced more cotton than anywhere else in the world, and it was said that the what they made before lunch was for the mill workers, the mill owners. What cotton was made after lunch was to feed the empire. And what an empire it used to be. Just see Old Mank Chimney over there. At one time, there would have been, I believe, 137 or 147 working mill chimneys in Burnley. Now I think there's less than 12. Not even working. I think there's only one that still churns out, and that's the Queen Street Mill. But yeah, it's very important in the Industrial Revolution. That's going up towards Accrington Road through that way. And I'll show you a picture of that. I've got an old picture, and it shows exactly how dense and compacted it was with mills in the area, mill chimneys. I'll insert it just here. So not only was Burnley known for producing cotton, we've got mineral rich coal fields, miles and miles of them. They run deep underground, some as deep as, I think, like 10,000, well, not 10,000, 1,000 feet, 1,100 feet deep. Bankhole Quarry, or mine, was one of the biggest ones in the area. Hatton Valley Pit. If you want to read up on that, there was a bit of a disaster back there where the mine collapsed and trapped 37 men and women. We can go and have a look at the memorial that they left to them. Sorry, I forgot tired eyes. Don't know what's going on today. But yeah, Burnley, you know, people give it this reputation, and it is very run down now. As with anything, once the industry moves away, what do you have left? You know, it's hard to put into words. Burnley are like a proud people who are working, you know, working class people. And they work hard and they're proud. But when you take that away, you have a bunch of people that only ever known one thing: mining or cotton weaving, cotton fulling. And there's not many of that much around anymore. Once they decided they could make it cheaper elsewhere, they shipped it all abroad. I don't like the look of that cloud behind me, flipping heck. Like I say, as with anything, time comes where it's no longer viable, and people can make it cheaper elsewhere, so they do. But that's just the nature of the beast, I suppose, isn't it? All in the name of progress. But yeah, we've had some beautiful buildings built and demolished in Burnley. I'll try and insert some pictures of those as well. And then we'll have a quick look around. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to hop down to Ashfield Viaduct. We'll have a look at the Ashfield Viaduct, what's left of the Massey's Brewery and the Caldervale Sheds. And then we'll jump into the town centre and I'll show you exactly where that money went and what it was built. Some really, really nice, like, stunning architecture. Let's go down. Is all that's left of the Massey Brewery. So this would have been the site of the brewery. You've got the Caldervale Sheds that would have been here, and the Ashfield Viaducts dominating the landscape there. And all that's left is a little bit of old wall. There's some nice stone carved pillars. There's no inscriptions in anything. It's all just worked stone, quarried locally, no doubt, from the Hamilton Quarry. And just down here, I think there's another one. You just see how it's worked and built. Yeah, it's just another little stone piece down here. And this would have been a little walkway into the back of the factory. There is pictures online, but they're not very clear. There's only like one or two. It wasn't very well documented. And this is the other one here. So it would have had railings all the way across, all the way up and all the way around. And then a little staircase down into the town, or down into the back of the factory. Just in this little corner here. But all you've got left now is a B&M Bargains, which actually used to be a do-it-all, if you remember that. You can bet they'll be doing it as well. But yeah. Yeah, so I've just shot a load of video and my microphone wasn't on. So we looked at the Massey's, the old Massey's walls. That's all that's left. Traffic everywhere. I'm sorry about this, guys. It's not going to be the best video ever, but you kind of get a gist. And yeah, my microphone went on, so that's brilliant. What I was talking about is just behind me up there. You see the patch of green? That's actually Oak Mount Street. There used to be a row of tenement houses there, or houses terraced, but they took them down. I presume because they were classed as slum housing. I don't know. It would run down in a rough area, and then they started throwing up council estates. The areas of Burnley are quite well defined. You can come to Burnley, you can tell you're in like the old industrial areas. You can tell you're in the old banking areas, the shopping centres, and then on the outskirts you've got the habitable areas. Another car. You don't drive slow around here either. Yeah, one of the reasons I moved out, it wasn't the town it used to be. But yeah, it's like I say, you go to Burnley Wood, it's rows on rows of terrace. Half of it's gone now anyway, but it used to be rows on rows of terrace, and now they put these little chocolate box 2-bedroom living room and the kitchen thing downstairs, and not built to last, I don't think. The stone houses were perfectly fine. A little bit of funding, could have seen them put up families for many, many more years, but that wasn't the case. Duke Bar still standing. Again, rows on rows of terraced houses. That sun's terrible, isn't it? Sorry, I know it's in my face. Yeah, rows on rows of terraced houses. Right, so I've took my mic off. Battery's gone, so I'm just put it on charge. So I've filmed this twice now. Ashfield Viaduct. I was just saying, you still run a train line over there, and when you're on the train coming westbound towards Blackburn, Accrington, it's quite a scary experience. There's literally you and a 100-year-old stone wall. In fact, 200-year-old almost. It was built in 1845. So not shy off 200 year, and it's already had a partial collapse where they braced it up there. But yeah, it looks like someone's still using a little bit of Calder Vale shed. There's a bit of a lock-up, which is good. You can just make out an old staircase going through. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go back to, I'm going to say, middle of the town, where all the banking areas are and all the official buildings used to be. We'll go and have a look at some of the architecture that used to be in and around Burnley. Used to be still there, isn't it? But yeah, let's go and have a look. So, once again, to the chorus of motor traffic. We're down in one of the old areas. So these are all the old banking areas and bits of like what look like terraced houses, but they're actually small businesses and maybe townhouses as well at one point. Just gives you a real sense of what Burnley were made of. And like I say, we weren't only the most important cotton producing town in the world, we also had the coal, we had canals running round. In fact, the canal skirts the entire town centre. You can't leave the town centre without going over water or underwater, which is a little fact for you. But just look at how grand these buildings are. Look at the carvings still in them. You know? That one's got the 3 lions on. Some family crest. And that one's got a ship, which I believe represents the British fleet at one point. So you would have come here to get like official papers, official documents, to do your banking. Now this bank was built in the early 1900s. There's been a Yorkshire Bank in Burnley since 1890. That one originally was knocked down and built a new one in 1925, which I do believe you can see from here. Yeah, I'll turn around and I'll show it you. So this is the Yorkshire Bank. Don't believe it's in use anymore. Some sort of Virgin megastore. You've got the Imperial Chambers. Look at that. I just want you to see how grand some of these buildings actually are. Sorry about the camera work, people. There's people walking around. I don't think they want to be filmed, so. The palazzo. Look at the stonework. 3 lions. A ship again. Very ornate designs all around the roofing. You've got Roman columns on that one, and the library is just up here, so we're going to have a look at that as well. We'll just have a quick walk down here. Right, it's all granite, polished granite and marble. There also used to be an old cattle market down here, and I believe you can still see some kind of remnants of it. Look at that old arch there. Trying to zoom out. Lovely old arch, made out of sandstone again. Everything's sandstone. Beautiful, stunning old buildings. And that's what I mean. Burnley was a rich town. It was not for the people that worked in the mills, obviously, but the people that got rich, owning the mills, owning the banks, owning the mines. It was very prosperous for them, I suppose. That's a lovely old building, closed down now. But you can see, like, there's no expense spared. Everywhere you look, it's all ornate. Centre pillars on your windows, all carved up. Fleur-de-lis and flowers and roses and God knows what. Nicholas Street. And this was like heading more in towards like solicitors areas and where they would have done like legal work, I suppose. I know there used to be a few mills down here producing drinks, because this is Elizabeth Street, and on Elizabeth Street was Greenwood and Co. And this is the old technical school. But again, we've got the town hall up here as well. Might as well go and have a look at the town hall. Yeah, so the old technical school. I presume that's would have been where you went to learn architectures and drawings and maybe a bit of who knows what technical. So what would that encompass? Definitely like architecture, maybe a little bit of engineering, who knows. And then you've got like I say, you've got all these beautiful stone buildings, and then you've got this dirty, great big grey social services building stuck on side. Shaddersley House, a product of the 60s, I believe. But yeah, right, look at this, guys. So you've got the Mechanics Theatre, and again, really ornate, really special. And then you've got the town hall. What I might do is I might go in there and ask them if I can do a little bit of filming, if I explain what I'm trying to do. Because I know in the basement there, they've got a nuclear bunker. Do you know, for like, if it ever kicked off, I think it got installed in the late 50s, early 60s. But I'm not really dressed for a visit to town hall. I'm in my hoodies and trackies, so they might tell me to bug off. Buy one get one free, don't they? But yeah, like I say, you see all these frosted glass. Town clerk, and then again from this side, looking down there, beautiful old stone buildings. They've even got like rooftop apartments in them ones. Well, I say apartments, rooftop workspaces, old chimneys and all stone, until you get down to the modern town centre, and then it's just a mess. Yeah, so what we'll do, we'll go and have a quick look in here. Well, turns out that actually has been sold. They're making apartments for assisted living, people with mental health needs and imported immigrants. So we'll see. They've moved the social services department into Preston and Accrington, I believe she just said, and I can come back in April. They're just doing work on the council chambers as it is, so unfortunately we can't get access to them. But if we come back in April, we can have a look around the town centre or the town hall, which should be nice, because I know through a few people on a couple of local Facebook groups you can get up to the bell tower and have a look around off the rooftops. Supervised obviously, but nevertheless access to the town hall, which is a proper grand building. I'll just show you some of these carvings here if you can see them. Look at that. All ornate stone pillars, very Greek, Roman. But again, still no dates. You've got the town crest there, a prancing horse with 3 symbols above it, like arrows. Yeah, but again, the dates, no dates when they were built or constructed, which I find very strange. We'll go down now. We'll have a look at the master on like zoomed in screen here. Sorry about the filming today. Still half asleep. We'll go down and have a look at where the old cat market used to be, and then we'll go off to have a look at the miners' memorial and the library. We might be able to walk around the library. It's public, so it could be good entrance. Back past the technical college. I'll bring you back when we get there. Yeah, so I would say we're still on Elizabeth Street, and Greenwood and Co. We're at number 12. Well, this is number 8. That's number 10. So it would have carried on over the road, and that would have been where it were. But there now is the police station. I don't want to do any filming because I don't know if you're watching any like audits online or anything. They think you're trying to do some nefarious stuff, and I don't want to get involved in all that. So I'm going to try and keep the camera away from the police station. We're trying to find the entrance to the old cattle market, which I believe is up this way. Let's go. And this is the courthouse and Burnley Library just across there. And you can see how rich these buildings are. Look at that. Beautifully decorated Art Deco roof styling, straight lines, some Roman pillars in front, and then again beautiful stone carvings. So this is what I mean, guys. Like, people think we're just a little backwater town, which I suppose we are. Once all the industry leaves, what have we got left? You have a lot of people struggling to make ends meet, working any jobs. We used to have a lot of factories as well. We produced Pendelphin. Like I say, we had a Thompson Centre just here, which created a lot of jobs. A big indoor sports centre, swimming pool, gymnasium, badminton, squash, you name it, it was there. But then, in the name of progress, they ripped it down and built a car park. So this is what, in my mind, damages the vision of a town. You get surrounded by all these lovely buildings, and then they rip a building down and build a car park, or they rip a building down and build a big grey box monstrosity. Anyway, we're at the memorials now, so we'll have a look. This one is one of the memorials. Just see, presented by the Burnley and District. Incorporated Chamber of Commerce. So corn. So you can see our farming on this side. We've got cogs for the mill, signifying mill work. That's some sort of curtain or chandelier. I presume that's for the stage, because we also have another theatre called the Empire, but it's very derelict at the minute. And then you have one signifying for the miners, a shovel and a miner's lamp. But then over here you've got a proper memorial, not long gone up, to be fair. So it tells you underneath. Now there's a guy on here who told me a lot about Burnley. He's called Jack Nadin. His name's just there. And he was like, if you ever wanted anything to do, or if you wanted to know anything about Burnley, he was your go-to man. Sadly, he passed away a few years back, 2 years ago I think now. But he was like a mine of knowledge, and all his work, all his archives went to the library. So if you want to come down and have a look through his old history, it's all accessible once they finish doing what they're doing. Look how grand that building is. It's absolutely stunning. Public library, adorned by 2 roses on the side. But yeah, it's this is a miners' memorial from Hapton Valley and all around miners up and down the country, I believe. Following committee. Yeah. Very sad day. And then you've got the Burnley coal industry. So you can see the corn, you can see the coal fields. So you've got Clifton Pit, Bankhall, Townley, Reedley, Salterford, Hapton Valley. So many coal mines all in one area. I'll give you a little bit of a breakdown if you want to pause it and read it. Barclay Hills, that's now a housing estate. That's what I was talking about, where Griffin was, around Stoops area. Barclay Hills used pit ponies. Bankhall Colliery, 6.1 metres in diameter and 1,500 feet. So what did I say? I said 1,000 feet. So I weren't far off. But yeah, one of Burnley's deepest pits. And if you know how to get in there, probably still accessible. And then there's a memorial to Princess Diana. And then the courthouse, flying Union Jack. So yeah, you can get, you get a sense of how important Burnley was back in the day. These grand structures, these lovely stone buildings. And then they come along, they took down the market hall. I won't show you the market hall. Well, I might do actually, because it's a disgrace. And it's this side of town that's letting us down. We used to have a booming market, and the old market was a stunning old Victorian stone built thing. Gates, wrought iron gates everywhere. They took it down in the name of progress and built a 60s, I don't even know what style, brutalist style I believe. Same time they put there's another building up Burnley called Brun House, and it's literally just a grey box, a 5-storey grey box, and it's absolutely disgusting. And it's this that ruins it. It's like these councillors coming in that don't live in the town, elected from outside, thinking they know better than the people of Burnley, and they just make silly decisions, and it ruins it. It tarnishes our reputation and our good name, and it made Burnley what it is today. It just like I say, Thompson Centre. Why didn't they take that time then to build another one? I know they put the St James's Centre up, but they incorporated a lot into that. They put a swimming pool in there, but it's also a doctor's and a GP and business buildings and business, so taking buildings down to incorporate onto one building. Now just down here, you've got the old cooperative buildings. Just there. So we're just in the town centre still, and I believe this is pretty much only one of the only mills you can actually get up close to the chimney now. I think there's one more just up by the mitre. You can stand at the base, but it's literally just a chimney. It's still got its stone on. Look at that, all the way up. Still got the loading doors in place. Now I remember this as a kid, it was derelict. All house fencing around it and tons of open access. You could just walk right in. A good spot for local people to go and take drugs and do whatever they wanted. But got restored early 90s, mid 90s. Turned into a nightclub called Lancashire Night, which I think was to do with its old steel mill heritage. Now we're walking down St James's Street now, also cobbled, and these are the cooperative buildings. Let's have a quick look over. There you go, that's the old theatre. And the River Calder running past it. So this is a stage area at the back, and they're trying to renovate it, make it watertight. They put a new roof on. They're actually doing a quite good job. The Friends of Empire Theatre. I've actually explored that. Got some really nice pictures. All the old still seating was in position. Up in the gods where it was all wooden benches. Excuse me. Ducky's toilets that are going for like £500 on eBay now. They were still there. All ornate and Victorian in brown glaze. But again, I'm going off on a tangent. Let's have a look at these cooperative buildings. So grand. Hamilton House. Absolutely stunning buildings. And they've not lost any of their charm. If you just look up there, you can just make out the stone walls inside, how thick they are. Just bare stone walls. I'd love to go and have a look around up there, to be fair. 1899 constructed Burnley Cooperative Societies, and there's still a big there's a big one there, so we're gonna have a look at that. That's what I mean, these buildings that still exist, you know, the ground, and everybody's walking around looking at the ground, looking at the feet. Nobody looks up anymore. They go unnoticed and unloved. And that sun's behind me into it again, so I'll try and get back into some decent lighting. But yeah, I was watching a video last week from another YouTuber called The Wandering Turnip, and he's from Ebden Bridge, so he's not too far away. Hamilton House on Hamilton Street, Argery Street, where the old post office is. We'll have a look at that in a minute. But these would have been the central stores. Sorry, get it straight. Just make out there. Central stores, 1889. And the Beehive. Sweets of Industry. So like I say, it was a cooperative, so everybody joined together. They put so much in, they take a little bit out, and they help the industries to grow and flourish. And that's how you end up being able to build buildings like that. It's such a dominating building. I remember this as a kid. It's never touched, never changed. It's always still been like old sandstone. They've had a few Panama's, bloody hell. Yeah, they've had a few nightclubs in there and whatnot, a few small businesses underneath, but the actual fabric of the building is identical to how it would have been. And you just see that little chimney poking up behind it. Suites of industry. I might get this shot as a thumbnail, to be fair. And then into the old post office, which is no longer in use, I believe. But this were a nice building, penny black. Turned into a nightclub to keep the building in use. In fact, we'll cross over and I'll film it from there. But this is the thing, it's like Burnley used to have a fantastic nightlife at one point, so all these old buildings got reused and recouped and put back into use, but no longer, ever since the 24-hour drinking laws came in. Don't matter what time you went out, you could stay at home and get drunk before you went to a club. Come on at Monday. But there were that many clubs in Burnley. This one used to be called BB11. It's now called something like the Rail Yard or something. No, the Coal Yard, I believe. Yeah, there you go. But then you've got all these old buildings, lovely stone intersected with red brick, and that stunning blue sky just offsetting it. Look at that for a shot. That's a beautiful. That might be my thumbnail today, guys, to be fair. So you wait all day for a bus and then 3 come at once. And down into Victoria Street, I'll just show you these lovely old ladders. Yeah, so the old post office, like I say, no longer in use, as a lot of old Burnley buildings aren't. But then you step down a side street and you see stuff like this. Old loading bays, look at that. Old step ladders, iron, fire escape, gone. You know, you can barely walk anywhere without seeing old industry interwoven into like the fancy buildings and the modern buildings, and it's all still there. You just need to look for it. But yeah, like I was saying, I was inspired because I watched this Wandering Turnip film a video in Darwin, and the Darwiners, now those Burnley people, were called Burnleyites, but their modern nickname seems to be Dingles, because they think for some reason we're off in Yorkshire, something to do with the Emmerdale Dingo family and how scruffy they are. Give them a name of Dingles. But you can see Burnley never used to be like that. It was a rich tapestry of old stone buildings and brick buildings and influential businesses, and you know, rich. It was rich in labour, rich in jobs, rich in mills, rich in the stuff it produced, shipping out all over the globe and all over the world from a little old town in East Lancashire. And it was a global exporter of cotton and coal, carried out by the canal and then later on the railway, which runs right through the town. And I want to show you the town from a vantage point I know of, just outside the town. You get to see just the topography of everything and how it's set in the landscape. It's actually quite amazing. Well, for me it is, but yeah, the old buildings, the old Marks and Spencer buildings are down here as well, just down there. This was the old Marks and Spencer building at one point, they moved across the road. So this is the town centre. I'm going to have a quick look around the town centre, but I've only got 40 minutes. I've got about half an hour left. But I'll be able to make it. I'll just show you quickly around the market. I'll bring you back when we get there. Just quickly, I'll just show you Tanner Street. So Tanner, as in tannings, tanning hides, and you can just make out the back of this whole building. Look at that. Do you ever see anything like that? Hidden away just down the back street. You know, the old mullioned windows of the edge of the cooperative buildings. Come on, you can imagine how grand it would have been at one point. Look at those windows all the way up. Then on this side, again, you've got that red brick, and it's all, look at all them pipes, guys. That's all pipes for the heating systems and the water system. It would have run off. Possibly sewers too. I think they're the toilets, aren't they? So I believe this used to be a picture house, a cinema, another theatre, bingo hall at one point. And then later on it turned into a shopping centre. But yeah, look at it, still all the old wrought iron and all the little windows. That stunning brick just gives you a sense of the age of it. And here we go, look. Just spotted another little thing. Look at this here. This is why it's called Tanning Street. The Oak Crest Tannery. In a big steel beam, still right over the doors. Look at that, guys. Absolutely amazing. I'd love to go in there and have a look around. I'd absolutely love it. 24-hour CCTV. I don't see why. There's nothing down there you can nick unless you want a bin. But yeah, you see what I mean. You go down these, you just go down the little side street, and it's just stuff. You just find old stuff. So the industry is still showing itself for what used to be there. It's still there, but it's been changed on the outside, almost like the facade. You know, it's like a facade. It shows really well on the outside, but the old Burnley is still here. You just have to know where to look for it. Paradise Street. Shall we have a look at Paradise Street? How do? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm shooting a video. Have a conversation and a half. So that guy there, we're called Wayne. He just saw me looking down that street at Tannery, and he was just saying he's in a town centre with his dog, ratting, keeping it clean. Apparently there's a bit of an issue, which I can kind of see when you've got stuff like this going on. But yeah, this is Paradise Street, and it seems to be another one of those little back streets where, hang on, there's people coming. I'll take you around and I'll show you all about it. Yeah, so like little houses again, little backs of the shops, backs of the buildings, and up this little back street. But again, what looks to be like mill buildings, old fire escapes, and bridged walkways. I'll do a quick circle and then we'll go back to the car, and I'll find somewhere else to park. We'll go up into the town centre. We'll have a look around there. But you can see how it is. It's like you step off the main street, down a back street, and it's all still old Burnley. You know what I mean? It's like this nearly every little back street you go down. They just don't change it. But then when they've pedestrianised everything, you get this lovely flooring. But yeah, you're not too far away from town centre that way. Looking back down. So I love this bit because it gives you a true sense of what Burnley used to be like. But I've not got long on my parking, so I want to show you inside these buildings. Again, the old mill, old factories, storage buildings. Lovely Art Deco doorway on that one, with original white still in place. The coal yard. Plenty of storage above. Alright. But then intersected with modern steel and brick. It's quite a jumble of architecture. Yeah, like I said, we'll get back to the car now, and then now we're looking for some lunch after as well. I'm being fueled on a cup of coffee and a half a Manchester tart as we speak, and it's starting to wear off. Right, over the road before we get squashed by the bus. Back to the post office. Yeah, like I said, I've tried to tell you this 3 times now, but I keep going off on a tangent. I was inspired by this by the Wandering Turnip, and he does stuff all up and down the country, mainly in local areas. He looks at like industry and how it's in decline in certain areas and how it's on the up in some. And we're in Darwin looking at the old chimney, went up Darwin Tower. So probably don't need it, but if you find his channel, The Wandering Turnip, let's give him a sub. It's quite interesting actually. And it was watching his Darwin video. I'm like, well, I don't have to travel miles. Shit, fucking hell. It's nearly gone down, not gobbles. Wow. Better get up path, Anna. I'm not safe to be let out. Jesus Christ. Right, so we're back on the microphone now, so I hope the sound will be a bit more clearer with all this background noise. We're on Gas Street. Again, you see the old industry all around us. Just down there's a really old building. Better get it away before we get swept up. So on this side, you've got the multi-storey car park. There used to be a church steeple here. God. Well, the sounds of a busy town centre, guys, unfortunately. You can see Oak Mount Chimney just up the back there, where we started. That's what I mean. There's literally, you can see everything from certain points. Yeah. From there, you get a really nice shot from the top. I'm going to see if we can try and get up in a lift. We'll get a view off the top of the Ashfield Viaduct, and it looks gory. And the town centre, but we've only got 40 minutes, so. We'll try and make a quick stop. Brick Street. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking back, I'm looking at old photographs, and off a black and white picture, you don't really get a sense of just how colourful it was back in the old days. All the shops adorned with really colourful signage, gold leaf, reds, greens, yellows. The bridges, every side of the building, or right side of the building, is all painted up. You don't realise just how colourful it was. And Burnley were no exception. I was trying to interject with some pictures. Let's see if we get up a lift. I'll try and post some more pictures of Burnley and how it used to be. All the signage everywhere and all the advertising boards. Is there a lift here? Yes. Right, let's get up this top floor. Let's have a look. So here we are, up at the top levels. And then you get a sense of, you can see the countryside on the outskirts of town there, KB Hotel in the middle of the shot. That's coming down soon. That big white thing is Brun House, the big grey white box. They painted it white now, but it did used to be grey. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm counting 6 or 7 chimneys from view. But yeah, here we go, Ashfield Viaduct in all its glory. And Pendle in the back. So you can see You can see Pendle all year round if it's not raining, and if you can see it, it's about to rain. But yeah, look at that. It spans such a nice little valley in the town centre all the way through. The old county court buildings there in red brick, that's derelict, and the modern shopping centre. So just bear that in mind. You can see all this. We're going to have a look at it now. We'll go across a little walkway and have a look into it. Yeah, just saying, having a talk with that fella. His name was Wayne, quite a nice guy, and one of Burnley's many eccentric people. But this is it. This is what Burnley's made up of. Nice people that you can talk to. Not so much anymore. People don't really want to talk to anybody anymore. But I remember growing up. This is how it used to be. Everybody talked to each other. Everybody said good morning. But as with anything, times change. People want to get exposed to themselves. But I've stopped for about half an hour talking to that fella about all sorts, and he actually put me onto another bottle tip and all. So, it's cute. And last time I went there to actually photograph, I got stopped asking. So I got up to jump off. Never stopped from doing it. What's that mark? So we can have a look around there. And see what it is. Now it's been quite a few years since I've been to the market. Do you believe walking around with this should be Asian? You know, I'll put that there. Yeah, quite a few years since I've been up the market, but I believe it's all food courts and clothing stores now, and the open market doesn't even exist anymore. I remember it as a kid being so vibrant and busy, and then on a Wednesday you'd have the flea market come in, and that were always busy and packed. Loads of traders, loads of people like shopping, bustling. That's just is that old herbalist store that we visited last week with John. So you can literally spend a day walking around the town. You could cover it in a couple of hours. I just don't like filming in public because I get a bit weirded out. People look at you weird, think you're some sort of strange guy. Anyway, let's go. Yeah, so vape stores, clothing, hats, watch repairs, big food court, indoor car boot. That went there before, so all these stalls used to be a big sweet stall here, a really good one. Ah, bloody hell. That's a blast from the past. I used to ride this as a kid, folks, when I was about 4 or 5. It used to be 20p. It's still there, still going strong. 41 years later. God, it makes me feel so old saying 41 years later, but this is the Burnley market. That was through into the open market, but it's no longer open. How do? Business good? Good, nice one. Yeah. You've got these big great windows. It is a big space, but I'll put a photograph in of the old town centre or the old market hall, what it used to look like. Nail bar. This used to be a cafe. Is it still there? Nope. It's now a nail bar. used to be a cinema behind here. This door open. You gonna let me out? Bit slow up to it, that. Jar to walk. So now we're in town centre. You can see it's all just brick, modern built. Phone exchange, clothing, hair salons. All the old butchers have gone because they can't afford the rent. There were butchers there, I believe it's been there for like, since it opened. But yeah, he's no longer there, can't afford the rent. Council keep pushing the rents up, making it harder and harder. That's down to the lower grounds. And this is the old doorway into the cinema. Back in the 60s, 70s. I don't think it was open in the 80s. I think they might have shut it down by then. But again, you can see from here up into the town and out into the countryside. In fact, you can see the ringing, Burnley singing ringing tree, which I'm going to do a video on, as well as the rest of them. That's one of the panopticons, but I won't say much about that because I want to do a video on that. But yeah, the demise of the shopping centre. And I believe there's a lot of shops closing as well now. But it's all because, in the name of progress, they push the prices too far. And the market traders can't afford it. They don't want to pay the bills. And I can't blame them. Why would you? You've been there for years and years and years, and they just don't want to help you out. And then, they're pushing the prices sky high, trying to get people back in, but still can't afford the rent. So what's the point? So then all you end up with is food stalls, phone shops. They do other stuff, other bits and bobs, clothing, ornaments. We'll go down this one. Little bakery there, little pie shop. And this is where I had my first taste of black pudding, from that little cafe corner over there. But yeah, it's like it's still there. At least there's one thing still around. Falafel. Misto burgers. Food courts. All food courts. Pad Thai. Noodle bar. Chinese stir fry if you fancy that. Let's get back down these steps. Exit to Curzon Street. Here we go. And then there's another memorial there. Little mosaic. And another one. Sheep and cows, tractors. Marks and Spencer, and next in Primark. But yeah, just here used to be a big old chimney, not chimney, like a church spire, St Peter's church spire. It was listed, but they took it down anyway, all in the name of progress. How do you, Paul? Right, lovely dog. That's a stunning dog. Little Staffy. Hello. I've got one at home myself.
Yeah, it's a beautiful dog. One of them a couple of weeks.
Have you?
Yeah, it's a guy who had it. He's got one for the time. He's going to kill him twice.
Poor bloody
You know
hell.
what I mean? But like you said, I know I must be. I've got a 10-12 bed for hunters, all that.
Yeah, main thing is it. You got a bit of company.
Oh, yeah, that's what means companionship for me.
Right.
Yeah, that's what it is. You know what I mean? But cracking dog.
Yeah, beautiful.
Everyone likes him, you know, don't they?
Cracking companions.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Well, are we getting on today?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right, I've got to crack on. Cheers, mate. What a lovely dog. He seems happy enough. I didn't have any spare change, so I would have bought him a coffee otherwise. But so we've just come down Calder Street, named after the River Calder, just at the back there. Then again, you can just tell this is one of those areas that kind of forget about. Council don't really come down this way. There would have been another factory. You can just make out the windows there and buttresses. Old derelict pub. Thwaites, Smooth. Burnley concert artists. That were a good pub back in the day, apparently. I never drank there, but used to do some good live bands and whatnot. And again, you got these old industrial bits. So, I hope I've done Burnley in a good light. There's good bits, there's bad bits. I only have 7% battery, so I have to sign off. Unfortunately, I could have probably done like 2 parts of this video, but I don't know if you can just make that out quickly. There's like a shadow marker where the writing used to be. Concert artists, 14 or something, 19 or something, 1905. Don't know if you can make that out. That's the Empire Theatre. So you can make out the balcony there, the balustrades. Everywhere you see a square is a boarded up window or a concreted up window. A million miles away from what it used to be. You've got some lovely old buildings here. Now, this here, there, where you see this gap, used to be a picture house. We've actually looked at the back of it, down on Tanner Street. It was called the Palace Theatre. Really, really nice. But what they did is they kept the entrance to the Palace Theatre. They took the. I don't think they did. No, they took the entire thing down, and they built an entrance into the Empire Theatre. When they turned it into a bingo hall, that was your main way in. And also, when I was coming down Hamilton Street, and I showed you the Marks and Spencer buildings, and we're going to have to cross over here. I pointed to this one here. These used to actually be the Woolworth buildings. Marks and Spencer is there. So, yeah, although I was pointing at the wrong building. I just noticed on camera when I was looking back. So I'll have a look at this building behind me. And these are the Empire buildings. So it would have been set up for shops, like a market arcade, a Victorian market arcade. But all the still windows are still there, all the original windows. All lead lined, stained glassed. Absolutely beautiful building. And again, all made from that same sandstone. The Empire Theatre building there, just carved into the top. Little pigeons sat on. Beautiful. yeah, so the plan is to head up through the middle of town. We'll have a look at a few old pubs. We'll have a look at one of the oldest pubs left in Burnley, and then we'll nip round and we'll have a look at where the town began, or roughly began. Um, is that better? That side. Yeah. So we'll have a talk about how Burnley became with its name, its origins, its start, and we'll have a look at the old technical college and a nice old church, and we'll have a look around the graveyard and that because there's quite a few interesting little bits in there. So yeah, so the Woolworth buildings, Empire. This is a really nice building actually, the Woolworth building. We'll get a look at that in a minute across the road, and I'll turn around and show you. Yeah, so they're right on the corner, and it would have had Woolworths all the way down there above the windows, all the way down there. You can see all the carvings. Again, absolutely stunning building. And then you're down on back on Tamworth Street with the cooperative buildings and Tanner Street just there at the back. Stunning. So, St James Street, right in the heart of town. You'll notice it's been pedestrianised. This happened in the late 80s. I think I was really a small child, but I remember it happening. I remember them planting all the trees in and whatnot. But this is one of the biggest differences. I remember a main road running right through it. 2 lanes, pavement either side. But the shops, up until, I think up until like the 60s, there were some beautiful old buildings. Again, all stone, brick, signage everywhere. And now look at it, it's just dull, grey, brick built boxes. You know, there's nothing, no character to it at all. And again, I'll interject some pictures for it, but you can see how much it's completely changed. It's totally different. This side, not so much, but this side definitely. And then behind you've got the old Barclays Bank building again, that lovely stone. But yeah, we'll get a bit further up. We'll have a look at some of these old pubs and the I think it's Burton's, the old Burton's building. So there we go, the old Burton's building. That lovely, again, kind of neoclassical, bit of Art Deco looking style. Roman columns up the front. Oh, they're Greek. Roman. I'd say Greek with the scroll work on, but and then we're back up to Manchester Road. Another lovely old bank there with a little tower on top. Red Lion Pub, and then the Swan Pub next to it, which is the oldest pub in Burnley, and I believe haunted. So we're gonna have a quick look at that because there's something stashed up the street that I want to show you there. The real Coffee Bean, no longer a pub, it's a coffee house. But this is it here. Look, the Swan. Look how it's bowed out at the front. Thwaites. We get everywhere these Thwaites, don't we? So that's a company I work for. Oldest pub in Burnley, but there's no date stone on it. But there's a bit of a information. Originally a farmhouse, converted into an inn towards the end of the 18th century. So just down here is an old lockup. So if you were caught drunk and disorderly, they chuck you in. You could spend a little bit of time there. How old's that? Old staircase going up, and I think that for for the pub, but very old. Look at that. Still a bit of old signage there. Pete Eastwood, Burnley, coach and motor proprietors. Tier and private eye. I'll get a photograph of that. But yeah, the old Burnley jail or goal. Still got the original bars in it, so you can't get out. I think it's now toilets converted. I won't show you too much because you can see someone having a wee in there. Then another beautiful stone building here, which I don't think's been used to its full potential, to be fair. But again, polished granite. But yeah, just look at that. Absolutely stunning. Just stuck outside there. And it's actually nice to see that, to be fair, because this would have been everywhere you can imagine. Shops all the way down, all adorned with really bright signage. Literally signage everywhere. Selling the wares and advertising companies. Um, and I've got some good source material for that in old pictures, which again, like I say, I'll interject and put in. But yeah, just look at these. The old Oddies, no longer with us. They shut down about 2 weeks ago. One of the oldest bakeries in England, I believe, in Britain. Family baker since, I believe, like 1890, 1880, something like that. Or maybe a bit later. But a stunning old building there, just wedged in between. And then again, you've got this like Art Deco style, which is now all works. Some weird stone brick building there that's been had its fascia taken off, so it exposes the brick. And then another old pub, the White Lion, and the Boot Inn, which used to be Yace's Wine Lodge. Yeah. So again, you can see how open and wide it is. They took the bandstand out. They took all the trees away and put these like planters down. Um, Barely any benches. They've just taken the character away again, and they say it's because of progress. They're trying to do like a modernisation, but it just looks dull and bare and clinical. It looks bland. There's no character, so they've took it away again. But we'll have a look at these pubs from this side. So you've got the White Lion there. Again, you see this little turret building just outside there. No expense spared, red roof, and the Boot Inn, which was, like I say, Yates's Wine Lodge, onto Parker Lane, and then that takes you up to the bus station. Then can't film the bus station because it's private, so don't really want to do that. But yeah, just look at it from this side. You've got all these beautiful buildings down this side which still remain, and then look at that. This is what I mean. It started with the regeneration of Burnley in the '60s, when the mills were starting to shut properly. Um, let's take all our really nice stone buildings down and let's whack up some cheap brick and weird cladding. Take away all the character of what Burnley used to be. It's a market town, it's a mill town, it's a cotton town, and it's barely showing any of its previous heritage. I mean, I'm trying to do it, trying to show Burnley in a good light, and we do. So we do still have some lovely buildings, but a lot of it got taken away. Um, but also, like I say, with that guy we're talking to, Wayne, when he were out ratting, he's keeping it. He's keeping it clean. He's keeping the town clean. You can't get away from it. We're centred on two rivers, the Brun and the Calder. So there's going to be a lot of water rats coming out of there. As with any town, you go to any town after night, you'll see them all scurrying down back streets and whatnot. It's not just us, but at least someone's doing something about it, taking matters into their own hands. So yeah, let's have a look at this one here. Look at that, stunning old stone again, and then these buildings here, which were all used to be old shops, still in use as old shops today, but these would have been adorned with again with signage. And this, the KB Hotel, which I believe is coming down. It's been a Burnley eyesore for a couple of years now. It's not really in use. In fact, what really weird is, in the '90s when I used to visit the town as a teenager with my friends, that used to be one of the places to be. That was where all the big businessmen went and spent the money. It used to be a good hotel. Um, so that's a quick look up St James Street, people. Like I say, it's lost a lot of its character, but on this side, there's still character there, and there is some character still around. So I'm gonna head that back. I'm gonna head back down now, pick my car up. Like I say, it's parking's weird in Burnley. Unless you pay for it, you got 40 minutes at a time. So I'm cheap, using free parking. We'll go and have a look at the old technical college on the outskirts of the town centre, and the old church. I'll see you there. Oh well, we'll just pass it back past. I'll tell you a little bit about the haunting. Apparently, at the top of the stairs, it's seen a lady, or I think it's a lady in a dress, or is it a monk? I can't remember, but it's whatever's there. It is said to be quite evil. It's got like an evil presence, a foreboding presence. One of the actual landlords who saw it wasn't there that long. He worked, I think he'd worked there for 2 weeks, and experienced it, and then he left, ran out. It's been well documented. You get a couple of old folklore books from like local history around Burnley and Lancashire, and that'll always be in it. So yeah, an old town, plenty of hauntings. Yeah, so the Mirrorstone used to be located at that point. That denoted the centre of town. There's all these little things everywhere that the council put up. Thorn Hotel stood on this site originally, a farm. So even though you're in a town centre now, a lot of this would have just been farmland and pasture fields. And like I say, the outer areas of town where we looked at were the industrial bits, where they threw up the mills, threw up the factories, and then part of the industrial revolution forced it to open a town centre, open a market, use the actual land. But yeah, there's these signs everywhere giving you little snippets of what used to be around in Burnley and where. Quite interesting, really. Gives you a little thing, but people don't notice them anymore. Like I say, they're too busy staring at the ground, looking at the feet. They don't look up. They don't see what's around them. Right, let's get back to this car. And we're back at the car, but just before we go, just want to show you this little thing, which was an old, I believe, Wesleyan chapel. Now it's church on the street. You can go there for food bank, clothing, prayer, thought. If you're homeless, I believe you can get a hot shower here. Just still there, doing a bit for the community, helping people out, you know, which is a good thing. I believe it was shut for quite a few years. I remember this being derelict at one point, but I'm glad it's back in use and helping people again. And then again, just the old Marks and Spencer building behind me. The Millennium Car Park was replaced to that spire. Right, let's get up and have a look at this old technical college and church. Right, so we're up by Thompson Park. We're looking at the old technical college, and there's a grammar school just around the corner. The grammar school was built in 1500s, 1545, 1548, I believe. And then I can't remember where one of the wealthy guys, I think he was a mill owner, he actually paid for the new grammar school to be built in the 60s, 1850s. Correct me if I'm wrong if you know. But this is the old Technical Institute. No longer in use up until about 2005, I think it was, around that time. But yeah, it's no longer in use now. It's just standing empty. Storage for all the furniture that's in there and everything, which is a shame. It's an absolutely stunning building. Huge. The old iron gate still in place. Welcome. So she's got an old spinning wheel there, spinning cotton, and she's carrying an atlas. And then I believe that would have had 3 lions carved into the centre of that crest. Could be wrong, but I think it definitely did. You can see the outlines of it. Yeah, so this is it's a real shame, to be fair. Can you imagine being granted a scholarship or a place to go to college there, like an institution? Back in the day when it was first built, how much of a privilege. Don't need, really, is there? No need at all. This is what the town's reduced to now. But yeah, can you imagine how much of a privilege that would have been to be able to go there and learn? And I hope he blows his engine up. But then, you know, it's huge. It's a huge building. And on this side, you've got all these lovely old houses. Again, all stone built. And where we're going, we're just going to nip across the road and into the old church grounds. And the River Brun runs through the back here. In fact, where we just started off at the Concert Artist pub, about 20 metres from that site is where the rivers converge, the Calder and the Brun. And this is where Burnley got its name. It was Brun by the meadow, or Brun by the Lee. And then it became Brunley, which in turn became Burnley. And now just Burnley, if you've got the accent still. I wrote really, I've lived close to Yorkshire and worked at Yorkshire for quite a number of years now, so my accent's kind of slipped a bit, but it comes back every now and again. If I'm back in my family, back in Burnley with my family, it comes back a bit, and we talk like that, all right, you know what I mean? But yeah, you get a nice view, back into the town centre from here. You got the, I think it's St James's Centre, St Peter's Centre. You can see the KB Hotel from here too. So we're not a million miles away from where we've just been. Ormerod Road. Now the Ormerods were part of my family. Ormerod Road. My great great granddad, Thomas Ormerod, which I'm going to do a little bit about that as well because it's quite an interesting history, quite a rich history. I might do a bit of a piece together and a bit of a tour in the area. And then behind me there, we've got the parish of St Peter. So we'll cross over, we'll go and have a look. Right, so St Peter's Church. There we go, folks. The old war memorial. And you'll notice that this side of the churchyard is quite affluent. The graves and the tombs, they're very upmarket. There's quite a few here that have some significance to Burnley. I believe there's a grave here from the Masses, or a family member from the Masses. Later of obviously Masses Brewery. There's another one of these signs. The parish of St Peter. First recorded in 1122. So this is where the original people think the original town started. Burnley. There was an old market cross found not far away. So on the banks of the Brun, there used to be a well just over the road there for clean water, drinking water. Burnley's religious life from Tudor times to the early 19th century. The select vestry, the local government of the day, met here. So there would have been obviously a wooden building. Wouldn't have been nice stone and brick. I think this went up in the early or mid 1800s, but there's been a church here since the 1100s. So it just shows you how old Burnley is, really, you know, where it began. And the River Brun just runs just down the back of us here, flows through the town centre, off and confluences with the Calder down just behind the concert artist pub in front of the Do It All. In fact, there's a lovely little hourglass there, sundial, and it's 2 o'clock, so we've got plenty of time. I'm parked in front of the Old Technical College, so there's no time limit here, so I don't have to rush through the history. I can spend a little bit of time looking around. It's in a little bit of a sorry state around here, so we'll go have a look through the graveyard, see if we can find anything interesting, and we'll film it. But yeah, so this is like the origins of the town around this area. Up by I believe it was up by the old grammar school, or the new grammar school, old grammar school, that's no longer in use again. It's just a lovely stone building sat not being used. But yeah, stunning Burnley. I mean, how foreboding does that look? That's the old grammar school there, just in the back. Lovely. I don't know if you can just make it out through the trees. Another stunning old building. But the graveyard's looking a bit sorry for itself. Sorry, I was doing a hiccup then. The graveyard is looking a bit sorry for itself. John Threlfall of Lane Bridge. I believe that's Lane Shore Bridge, who departed this life April the 6th, 1830. Wow. I know there's a grave here that contains an entire family, right down to the youngest child. And I think it was either cholera or TB. So we'll try and hunt that out. It's been many years since I've been down here, but you literally just walking on them. Sacred in the memory of Thomas Richmond, 1848. Some real history. Henry Bridge, 1855, of his 62nd year. There is a few modern memorials further up towards the front, but these back ones are really old, and I doubt they've got any. Well, they might do. Surviving relatives in the town or people that actually know they're here. But yeah, it's very sad. We'll have a little walk down here. It's been roped off, but we're not going to stop at anything. We'll try and meander through. It's quite, like I say, it's quite a derelict area. Not derelict, but very overgrown. Abel Dixon. Just one little headstone. And there's another one just through there. Just with your name on. Nothing written about him. It's quite a sad state of affairs, really, when it ends up like this. In fact, it doesn't even have his name. It just says JR. Just his initials. Thomas Eaton, 1863, 37. I don't really want to tread on graves, so we'll make our way through around. There's a lovely obelisk just there in the style of like a Egyptian obelisk, and there's a bit more of a stylized one just through there. But yeah, very old, very unkempt. Right, I'll have a look through and I'll bring you back when I find something, or when I find what I'm looking for. Yeah, so I think this is it. So it's Elizabeth Ann, the daughter of Henry and Ellen Blakeborough of Burnley, who died June 7th, 1846, aged 14 months. Also, the above named Ellen Blakeborough, his wife, 1852, so 6 years later, 34 years. Henry died another 8 years after that, 44 years. Walter, his son, who died January 4th, 1861, so only a year after his dad, only aged 7 months. and Rebecca, the beloved wife of Robert L. Blakeborough. I think Robert Blakeborough was his brother, who died January 4th, 1906, age 50. And then Robert Lupton Blakeborough, her husband, his brother, 1914. So I think he died in the war, World War One, age 65. Oh no, he was 65, so he lived through it. And their daughter, who died in 1939. So that's an entire family. So the baby, the wife, the husband, the son, everything just completely gone, wiped out. An entire generation. Um, really, really sad when you read some of these. But there's one that's to do with the masses, and I can't quite remember in the graveyard where it is. I think it's back over where the overgrown stuff is. I don't think it's accessible, but we're going to have a look through here, and then we'll try and get a few little snaps to put in. And I'll show you a few old pictures of this as well. Like I say, I'll stick them in, and you can see what old Burnley used to look like before it is now. And I've got it on close up again, Anna, so you'll just had a massive close up of my face. And yeah, so this one's got about, I don't know, 12 bodies in there. You've got Jeremiah and his wife Elizabeth. You've got 5 children. His sister, daughter of Humphrey and Sarah Waddington. 1846, 1 years and 6 months old. Also Mary Ann, daughter of the above, April 22nd, 1849, aged 1 year old and 6 months again. Merritt, the son of George and Sarah, aged 2.5 years. George, the son of Cornelius, what a name, and Alice Waddington, 1858, aged 1 year. Really, really sad. Tons and tons of like children just going. There's one there as well, 1 year old, 1.25 years old. Thomas and Sarah, Daniel, the son of Thomas and Sarah Chafer, 1.5 years old. And then the children on this side, 2 month old, aged 2 months old, 1 year and 8 months old, 17 years and 11 months old. So she lived to teenage years. And then George, the oldest, who died at 42 years old. God. Sorry to. I didn't realise it was so somber, to be fair. I knew there was a couple that contained a lot of children. I thought it was just the one. I can't remember seeing this one or reading this one. It was the one at the back, and I believe it was a cholera outbreak. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to do some research on that. But quite sad, really, really sad. You know, it's an entire generation just wiped out all at once, like 1 year old, 1.5 years old, a couple of years apart. Unless it was just the sign at the time. Bernard Sutcliffe Howarth died at Mansoura, Egypt, August the 30th, 1878. He could have been like a bit of an explorer. Just yeah, really, really sad. And then there's another family of Chafers there as well. So I wonder if that were quite a common name back in the day. That's Thomas Chafer, timber merchant, Burnley, 1855, age 73. So at least he had a bit of a life. Oh, quite a lot of a life. Just shows you, don't it? There's no rhyme or reason. Still trying to find the Massey. I'm sure it's back way there. But we'll keep having a look around anyway. Like I say, we're on no time limit now, so we can't take our time down this bit of town. William Fishwick, Green Bank, Burnley. Age 34 years. But like I say, it's quite old and falling apart in some places. This one all banded together because it's ready for collapse. Property of Joseph Slausfield and Mary, his wife. Barnes, 64. That's lovely. All carved granite again. Yeah, look. This one's had to be strapped together for fear of collapse. And then you're off. You're off back down to River Brun. I think these were the chapter house or chapel house. I'm not too sure. It's like some sort of daycare nursery now, but again, still being used in use. We'll have a look up here, and then we'll go down, look at the dark front. Can't find the massy one. I'm pretty sure it was where I showed you with the grammar school in the background. I'm pretty sure it was in there, surrounded by brambles and trees, so it's not easy to get to. Henry Parkinson, surgeon of Hollingreave, Burnley. Now, Hollingreave was up by Burnley Wood, the top end of Burnley Wood, who died August 17th, 1854, age 58. Mary, 83. I wonder if that's anything to do with the Parkinson's. Chemist. Parkinson's were quite big in Burnley. The chemist area as well. There are quite a few shops. Just make sure my microphone's still on so you're not watching me jibber on without any volume coming through. Look, another Parkinson as well. William Parkinson. 1881. Ruth. George William, who entered into rest 1916 at Windberg, South Africa, age 58. For 28 years, headmaster of St. John's School in Windberg. Peace, perfect peace. Alice Williams, their daughter, entered into rest in 1926 at Windberg, South Africa. 34 years the headmistress of St. Andrew's School in Walsall. She half done what she could. Ellen Parkinson, their daughter, who died at Kenilworth, South Africa. And Rowlinson Parkinson, headmaster of schools in Manchester, died at Felixstowe, 15th November 1953. So quite recently. So teachers, headmasters, quite a well-to-do family. But there's some lovely carves here. John Elstead of Cockden. That's up by Worsthorne. It's one of the little parishes up there. Don't know why he's buried down here though. I thought they had their own, unless he was being back in the town. He was just living up there because his wife came from there. Maybe, I don't know. But I thought they had their own little. I know they've got a graveyard at Worsthorne, but Cockden's like just a little hamlet. There's like maybe a few farms and a pub, and then you've got lots and lots of stone carving. Look at this one. That's a very, very strange. It's all capitals at the front. Scroll, Old English scroll. I don't do too well with Old English, so I'm not even going to attempt to read it. Yeah, unfortunately, I can't see the massy one unless it's up front here. But I do believe it's something to do with, like I say, the massy brewing empire. Right, I'll bring you off if I find it. Right, folks, so that's going to be the end of the video. In the shadow of St. Peter's Parish. I could go on all day. I could show you so much more, but it'd be like a 10-part series. There's loads and loads of history according to the books and what you can see. Folklore. There's so much. But I'd be here forever trying to film it all. So you've seen the industry, you've seen the good bits, you've seen the bad bits, you've seen the nice bits, the old bits, a bit of history, a bit of a chat. What's there, what's no longer there. Like I say, I'll put all the old pictures back in after I've done a segment. So, like when we did the Weaver's Triangle, I'll show you a picture of what Weaver's Triangle used to look like. I'll get some old photos of St. Peter's Church, the old Woolworths buildings in the town centre, stuff like that. And I hope you enjoy the video. I enjoy filming this one actually because it's been a while since I've actually properly looked around my town again. Like I said, I used to spend every Saturday in town with my friends, and I was always intrigued by the architecture and the buildings. And now I've got a bit older, I'm quite into the history of it. It's been a treat, this one. Anyway, don't forget to like and subscribe. Please hit that notification bell, then you know when I've uploaded a video or a piece of information or a community post, whatever you want, you'll get to know about it. Yeah, and I'll see you on the next one. Ta-ra.